So is it safe to say then that there is no equivalent to a Drake from back in the day?
I think we can say that because I just don't like, regardless of what the numbers are.
Yeah, can he only live in the current era that we're in?
Yes.
Did y'all see the picture of him holding a drink with the Michael Jackson? Extremely
so
corny. First of all, whoever said it, the goalpost part. I don't know how this is going to be received.
Don't care.
It's already received.
Nah, but I think there are people
Poorly.
that actually think that it's. I think
There's
there
a
are
lot.
people that
There's a
actually
lot.
think it's there.
Who
It's a
cares?
lot.
I don't
Yeah.
care about the people.
Well, I mean,
Well, if you don't care, all right. But I'm just
we
saying.
don't talk about it though.
I'm just
No, I
saying.
mean, like how the people receive it.
I mean, it's hard for me to define. I can't pinpoint. I'm going off just generally what I see, and I'm seeing people that are saying
use
that it's credible and that it's just as good or just as impressive.
Well, it's because I
That's
use
what
the stat
Michael
if
Jackson
that
did.
numbers don't lie.
Right.
Numbers don't lie, but there's different factors that go into how numbers and records are broken nowadays that didn't exist back then.
Everything is always based off context when we want to talk about, especially with this. I think context has to be involved whenever we talk about this, but I'm seeing people looking at this as they're here. They're the same. It's the same amount of work. It's the same reception. They're just as big as stars. I'm like, man, kudos to him, but I just don't see it, bro.
We've talked about this numerous times.
I don't care about they.
People have not seen Michael Jackson in real time that are championing Drake as the greatest.
Drake can go to
That's
basketball
fair.
games.
That's fair.
Exactly.
That's fair.
That is a very good point.
That's
Michael
fair.
Jackson couldn't.
He
He
couldn't
couldn't
do
go
nothing.
anywhere.
He
No.
couldn't do nothing
Good
without
point.
security
That's a good point.
and people bombarding him
That's why he created an entire theme park of a house.
at the crib. When he would come in town, if he wanted to watch a movie here, he would buy out the whole Circle Center movie theater and watch the movie by himself.
Gary almost got turned upside down
man.
when he went back. You remember that when he stopped in the fast food and all that? It almost
is
got
not-
turned upside down.
This is not the same
Hey,
person.
stop it. Go away.
It's ignorant.
Nah, man, I'm seeing people saying, "Oh, this is great," and he's one of the goats. I'm like, yo,
He is. But
When it comes
Drake
to
is
Mike,
one. Drake is
He
one of the
is.
goats.
But the
What
thing
are we
is, you
It's
got to
undeniable.
understand, when Michael broke these records, you had to go to the store and buy the record. People had to actually request your song. This is when radio actually took requests.
True.
And had to play it based on the research of and the call out hooks and all that good stuff.
true.
Now everything is based. You got streaming farms. You got a machine that will set up behind you. I'm not saying that people aren't that interested in Drake's records because I know they are.
They have
I had
to be with the numbers
I
that he's
listened
doing.
to Drake's record just so I could talk bad about it on the show. But and fine, it is what it is. Like, because there was a time where if like you didn't like Michael Jackson, you didn't have to listen to his
something
records.
was wrong with you. I remember being at Coach's one night and being disgusted at a girl that was sitting at our table that said she didn't like Michael Jackson.
What?
I think a Michael Jackson song got played, and we got to talking about Mike's impact, and she said she didn't like Michael Jackson. I was like, well, you can't sit here any longer. Simple as that. I don't need to have a conversation with you.
I'm sorry. There is a prerequisite.
Yeah.
Hey, Jay Moore, there's something to what you said about interest because the interest clearly is there. Whatever the system is and the metrics are, the boy knocking it out the park every single time he drops. Good
No,
or bad, or-
It's easy.
But this is the thing.
Is it
If
easy
you're
though?
one of-
Yes.
For him, yes.
Yeah. You
There
got to
go.
understand. Like, when they-
Lone said it.
yeah.
Because but what I'm saying is, maybe I'm playing devil's advocate here, but what I'm saying is there's something, whether it's him manipulating the system, him being formulaic in
He's
terms
not
of how he
manipulating anything.
No, but what
He
I'm
is
saying
a
is,
pop star.
Yes.
yeah, maybe it's that. But whatever that is, that mug is consistently successful. So that's the argument when people say, yeah, times
Don't
have
care about
changed.
people.
Times have changed, but fam is doing that in this era.
Your ability,
and he is.
Your ability to drive things is so much more passive because you don't have to buy anything.
Don't have to go anywhere. Whenever his album drops, I can press play on it right now. Like he said, I don't have to drive anywhere to buy this album.
I don't have to.
I don't have
no
to own
effort.
it. I don't have to hold it. I don't have to.
Effort.
I don't have to
put
save
it on a
up for it.
turntable and put a needle on the record. I don't have to do any of that.
Because
Lone,
remember,
Lone said effort. That's a good word.
Because remember, if I remember as a teenager having limited funds. It might be 3 albums that come out in 1 week, and I can only get one.
You had to make a choice.
And I had to make a choice.
Now you can spend $10 and get every album that comes out,
Yeah.
Or just listen to it on YouTube.
or that.
Or listen to it on YouTube. Yes, or listen to it on YouTube. There's going to be multiple searches that can be done to find playlists to listen to it. That's facts.
You know, so I mean, look, if you wanted to see Beat It, you had to wait till it showed up on MTV or BET.
Right.
And the thing is, like,
or you have to record it so you can watch it whenever you want to.
But at the same time, like that didn't count for anything. Now, because if you want to watch a music video, you have to go to YouTube.
True.
All those numbers are counted.
True.
You know, towards your chart position, and you know, even if they're paying you only a half of a cent, you know, every time you watch it, you know, you look at some of the numbers on these YouTube videos. Like I saw, like 50 Cents in the Club has been viewed up like 1.5 billion times.
I didn't
Something
know that.
ridiculous. You know, like, so people, when you see certain videos, you'd be like, oh, I can't believe this has been watched 40 million times. 40 million is nothing compared to some of these songs that have been viewed 3 billion times.
Come on, man. It's a different day and time. So what we need to do in order to make sure that he does not beat Michael Jackson, everybody needs to collectively pick a Michael Jackson song and get it back on the billboards and back in rotation. Kind of similar to how they've done for Miguel. You know what I'm saying? We need to get a song back in rotation.
Let's get Liberian Girl up to number 1.
So you're saying don't collectively do violence.
No.
Okay.
No harm.
No harm.
No harm. We need to pick a song and make it go number 1.
Yeah, I gave y'all one. Liberian Girl. There's a video for it. You can watch the video.
The video is tough too.
Yeah, it was.
The video is tough.
Yeah.
The video is tough. Yeah, fam had his glove on Instagram, man.
Yeah.
And
he was drinking out of it?
They said he wore it like all day.
He had a cup like this, and you can see the Michael Jackson-ish.
And you know what's crazy? So this is J. Cole's first number 1 that he's ever had his whole career.
I can see that.
It was an average song, too. J. Cole did well.
J. Cole,
J. Cole, smoked it.
That's his first number 1?
It's his first number 1.
I mean, this is the thing. A lot of times we only count number 1s if they're on the Billboard Top 100. We don't, you know, he might have had a rap single go first, number 1, or
you could have had a Jet magazine number 1. It's not the same.
Hey man, I mean,
I looked up to that Jet magazine.
I sure did too.
That whole list was fire for me back in the day. That was almost my blueprint for things that I need to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes down to actually what's going on out here, this is J. Cole's first joint.
Yeah,
he's been in the game for 15 years.
It actually. Drake's success for his numbers and everything that he's done actually goes towards the argument about what Lone is saying about pop, being a pop star. That's what I've always called him.
I mean, we called him that on the first episode.
And I always get into discussions to talk about him being an MC and all. I'm like, yeah, he can rap. But his core, I'm talking about that bread and butter.
But this is the thing.
Pop.
Next week will be number 1. You see?
It might.
Yeah, but you got to understand, when Mike would go to number 1, he'd be number 1 for 3. He'd be number 1 3-4 weeks.
That's true.
When their curiosity ends, you know, and those streaming numbers fall off, and you don't have the people who listen to the record like we did, except for Lone.
No, I was with him. We tried. We tried.
Yeah, I mean, and so after that,
22 mini.
Then everything. Oh, that's right.
That's a bar, boy.
And so that's when everything falls off. Like you got to understand. You see these people, they do crazy. Like it'll be the whole top 10 will be somebody. You know, I've seen it. That Taylor Swift has done it.
Drake did it the first day it came out.
All his records charted.
And so then once you get out all the people who are not curious, you know.
Then it's
and I could be wrong. If it does it 2 weeks in a row, then I'll be like, all right, people are really into the song like that.
He might have one do that, but until he can disrupt the time and space continuum, so to speak, whenever he drops something like Mike did, then you can't really be that dude like that.
Because the way Mike's sold records.
Come on, man.
If he'd have put out Thriller in a streaming era, he'd have had 9 of the top 10 because there's 9 songs on Thriller, and they'd have stayed there.
Yeah.
Thriller sold more copies the second Christmas it was out than the first.
I don't know. I'm not trying to defend Drake at all here, but it is completely different eras. And who knows what would happen if Michael Jackson came out and released today with what everything is. Like, I think there's too many like factors at play. Like, there wasn't a streaming thing, so people had to be that demand for Michael was just so big, and no matter how much Drake would even try to be like a Mike in that aspect. Like everything is about being in your face. Like J. Cole is a recluse, but
openly,
but Kendrick is as well. But neither of them really draw the same type of. I think Michael would. Now this may be a hot take that I don't really think is a take, but it might be. Mike might be similar to like what of Kendrick. Like a high demand for high quality music that a lot of people still like.
They only come out every few years.
Every once in a while.
Every year.
I don't know. I don't know if I fully agree that like Mike would do larger numbers than Drake
in this era
because of what this era is. I don't think that takes anything away from the quality. I would definitely say Mike's music is way better. It's not even close. But I think because of the era in general, that's the reason why Drake is what Drake is anyways. He intentionally makes music that is going to stream well. Mike was just making good music.
Dang, I've never heard it put like that.
I mean, because when I think about
Kendrick
Offset's
just
record,
makes good music.
like Offset put out his record this
Good
week.
point.
It's not too bad either.
No, he's got some joints,
I
but
haven't
I'm
listened
like,
yet.
but once again, I'm like, another 20-something song album. And I can't think that this is done for streaming purposes.
What if Mike dropped a 20-track project right next to somebody else, and he dropped another one last year, and he dropped one before that, a year before. I feel like we might have the same type of fatigue listening to Michael Jackson.
See, that's a good point. My only pushback would be that, and then again, we have to equate everything for the evolution, but my only pushback would be the amount of time and effort that was put into Mike's music versus Drake's. Because a lot of the stuff that's coming out now, and I don't have all the answers, I could be wrong, but in my mind, it's not taking a long time to do
comparing
a lot
the
of these
wrong
records.
artist. So the right artist would be a Beyonce who put out her record the same time Drake put out 2 albums ago. And she just finished up a tour on that album.
Right.
The other correct person would be a Taylor Swift.
Okay.
The other correct person would be The Weeknd. You know what I'm saying? These are the type of people that are putting out albums, letting them breathe, making a world tour on this album, putting together a production, and then getting ready to do the next release. Drake is touring on a tour where it's just a black arena. He's walking around the stage.
So is it safe to say then that there is no equivalent to a Drake from back in the day?
I think we can say that because I just don't like, regardless of what the numbers are.
Can he only live in the current era that we're in?
Yes.
Now that's a good question.
Yeah, he wouldn't be able to make it back then.
That's a good question.
Not putting out what he's putting out.
No,
the music is not going to stand up against that. Whatever his peers would have been in that era. I don't think it's not powerful enough to stand. I don't think it matches up. I don't.
It's too microwavable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because the thing is, here it is, Drake has put out this is his 3rd album. It's the one with 21 Savage. It was the Dance album.
The Dance album, then the 21 Savage album,
and now
then
this
album.
one. And it's like, how, those albums do not stick around.
No.
Right.
I don't know anybody who can say with a straight face that Michael Jackson is not talented.
You can't. I don't think you can.
But I know many people that could say that Drake is barely talented.
You've had that conversation?
I know many people that could say that Michael Jackson was the standard of what an artist was supposed to be,
right,
and what people wanted to achieve.
Right.
When you look at Drake is doing Drake. I mean, it's a good look, but it's not the same impact and feeling. It doesn't give you that same spark, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think I've ever seen anybody just pass out.
When I see
maybe from drugs.
I'm sure people have though. I'm sure people have
had a bad Molly or something.
So is it safe?
I'm sure people have.
Is
though.
it?
Yeah, I mean,
talking about Lone, you mentioned a take that's not a take. Well, we'll just throw this out here, and I'm very, very curious to see what the chat and also what people will say in the comments. So, do we look at Drake as a algorithm artist, somebody that has mastered his era and knows exactly how to move and knows exactly how to capitalize on everything that he does based off his era?
He doesn't need the internet anymore.
So you think he surpassed it? You think he surpassed needing the internet?
He doesn't really need it.
I
think
don't
he's
know about
past
that.
that.
I don't know
he
about
needs
that.
it because that's where the streams are at.
Well, that's part of it, though.
But I'm saying, as far as algorithm, because he can do anything and it doesn't matter.
But my pushback would be he can do anything and it's going to be in the algorithm. No matter what he does, the Michael Jackson glove is in the algorithm, which leads back to the album and sales and going back to check. Like everything that he does is a part of an algorithm to me.
Yeah, but
it's always going to be.
The only reason we know about the glove and the goofy haircuts is because of the internet.
Yeah, but that's the algorithm world, ain't it? Everything that he does is going to pop up somewhere based off the algorithm.
Yeah,
isn't
Based
it?
off because he's Drake.
Well, yeah, he's
this
Drake,
point.
but I know a lot of people that are, you got artists that are popular. They're not popping like Drake every time they post something.
Exactly, because
He got
they're not
143.
Drake.
He got 143 million followers. So he's definitely taking advantage of social media and everything that he drops and he puts out. That's a part of his
So the internet.
greatness. Yeah, like the internet is a huge part of his greatness to me.
Yeah, well, he's not bigger than the internet.
Oh, yeah.
True. No, I don't think he's bigger than
He
the internet.
is the internet.
Yeah, he's more like.
You know how they say Beyonce's internet? You ever heard people say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beyonce's internet. Like, she's another artist, to Terry's point when he talked about we're maybe comparing the wrong artist. Anything she do, it's going to be in the cycle. Twitter, X, or whatever you want to call it. It's going to be everywhere. No matter what she does.
I think Beyonce's a better comparable to Terry's,
to Michael Jackson.
Right,
to Terry's point.
Because even if I wanted to, I couldn't. When she was on tour, I knew somebody within my feed was going to one of the shows.
100%.
I knew people that went to multiple.
I do too.
Different cities.
Cop for multiple cities, traveled and everything.
Yep, made a whole.
And I
trip
know
out
them
of
tickets ain't cheap.
I seen some people finagle their way in that concert for an affordable price.
Yeah, they just made sure to wear some silver, and it was low key.
Don't
I'm telling you.
The funniest thing to me is when there was some part where Beyonce wanted everybody to be quiet, and then there'd be somebody who wanted to draw attention to themselves, and then that person would get beat up. I always thought that was pretty cool.
You can't. You
Beehive
like that
be
part?
stinging.
Yeah, they sting.
Drake
I don't
ain't,
know,
he ain't
man.
even got a name for his fans. How you think? I guess Mike didn't either.
No, Mike just had a.
That was before you was naming what your fans were, though.
It's a part of the Superfans book that I suggested you guys read.
Look
Yeah.
out now! I see you.
No, it really is.
No, for real. But yeah, man, he's. I don't know, man. I like Lone's conversation about the eras.
And don't get me wrong, I actually like Drake, man. I'm not gonna sit there and lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of look forward to when Drake drops an album because I want to hear what it sounds like, and I want to see if he's changed anything, and I want to see if he's actually rapping because he can actually rap. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, look, I tell people how much I like Take Care. I think that's a great record.
That record
So
is
when
fire.
I thought For the Dogs was going to be in that vein, and when it wasn't, that's why I came in here and tore that album up.
Yeah.
And that was maybe I shouldn't have torn it up based on my expectations. No, you know what? I take that back. I didn't tear it up based on my expectations. I took it back. I tore it up because the lyrics was whack, the themes were whack, and he got out rhymed on the song that everybody's favorite song that he got out rhymed on. So
It was
that's
just
why I
low
tore
effort.
it
It was a low effort project.
Yeah.
I
There it
don't
is,
like
right
low
there.
effort music, man.
There it
I don't
is.
either.
That's
Take
it.
Care
But
wasn't.
I like Drake. I like
Take Care
him.
wasn't low effort.
But he's just not. He's not giving me good music to really listen to.
Lone
like
hit
that.
it right there.
He gives me some good. He gives me a few songs on every release that I can play while I'm out. I will give him that. I can always load a couple Drake songs into my catalog and bump.
That's
them.
facts.
But as far as like an actual whole release, it's not doing it for me.